everybody. It is time for the Sports Unfolded Just for Kicks soccer show. I'm your host, Ron Rego, and I've got David Borts in the house. How are you, David?
I'm doing good and playing with my computer, which bumped me out for a second. I'm back. I'm back in as joining as a guest. So here we are.
Yeah, the tech wizard is here. He's also here on another thing too. As I see, he just came in again. This is gonna be fun. You and tech, I can see it now.
Ron, I'm on.
Look, we got a great show.
I'm on.
What was that?
I think we're. Give me a second.
Yeah, I can get you out. Don't worry. Remove guest. There you go.
All right, good. I cannot be on two at a time. I can argue with myself, but what am I?
You could.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be fair if you're arguing with me. Then it'd be 2 versus 1.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so we got a great show for you. We have all the happenings in soccer around the state, for one thing. Mm-hmm. We also have some unsettling news coming out of the storm centers, right? I guess Cape Verde is going through a little bit of a crisis right now, so we'll talk a little bit about that as well. We've got the Super Cup. We've got Rhode Island FC. We have New England Revs talk. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff today. Let's get into this. I love that we are keeping up with this Rhode Island Soccer. Super Cup. There's been some great matches.
Yes.
And I got the recap for the week. And let me tell you, no short of entertainment. You got to get out there and support these clubs around the state. I'll tell you, they've been fantastic games. The first game, CRCP Warren Soccer Club.
Yep.
Defeated Real Columbia 3-2, a nail-biter. So, Fernando Silvestri, Pedro Correa. Oh, and I love this guy's names. Dimas Simas.
Yes.
That's a soccer name right there.
Soccer names are just unique, and a lot of nicknames become people's real names after a few years.
Yes. Yeah. So those are the 3 goal scorers to lead Warren to their 3-2 victory over Real Columbia. Real Columbia is a pretty good team.
They are.
And Warren beat them, so that puts them in a position where, hey, we can really build on this now and move forward and try to win every game and see what they can do for an outcome, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Go ahead.
So listen, let me tell you real quick. Real Columbia has got a couple of really, really good ball players that have been around for a while. The Warren Soccer Club, which is a historic Portuguese club and soccer club, which goes back probably 40, 50 years to the old Laza League, has a couple of ball players on it. One who is played in the MLS, and actually he was a captain at PC at one point. There's another guy who played for the Stingrays. And I'm not looking at the full roster right now, but they've got some seriously good soccer players that a young kid who's doesn't know much about the game or doesn't have a dad or an uncle who's always got TV on watching soccer games can actually take a look and say, oh, wow, I just saw something I don't know how to do. So, yeah, it's something that going forward, we're going to get more and more of these schedules up and out and publicized. And they're easy. There's no admission. They're usually at some good fields. We play in Providence. We play in East Providence. We play down in South County also. So there's some interesting places. We'll get our schedule in advance up sooner on our website and share it with you also.
Yeah, looking at another game, Dynamo Morabeza FC defeated Cranston Portuguese Club in the last minute, 3-2.
Yeah.
Goals from Andre and Antunes or Antunes.
Antunes.
Gerson Barboza and Nuno Martin also scored goals in that game to give Dynamo a 3-2 win in that one. Scoring in the final minutes of a game is pretty exciting when you're tied and then you finally get that goal and it breaks the tie and everybody's happy jumping for joy, and the other team is sadly beaten despite the great game. So two very exciting games there, finishing 3-2. You got to love that. Another great game, and I'll tell you, the Renegades have been playing some great games lately. A lot of high scoring stuff.
Yeah.
Intelligentsia defeated PCFC Renegades 6-5. Another
Yeah.
high scoring game. Wilson DePina had 2 goals in the victory. But Kyle Behani, how's that for a name? Had 3 goals in the loss. He played a fantastic game.
Yeah. Absolutely. So and this game was played down South County at the Ocean State Field, North Kingston.
Yeah.
So we're all around. This league is all around right now, which is nice. Some of the other fields mentioned, like the Chafee Field, which people maybe grew up in Cranston, they know where that is. It's a big field complex in kind of western Cranston. And
so some goal scoring in that one. Last week we had a couple of games that were very high scoring, and then it continued this week as well. So no shortage of goals was Santo Antao United. They defeated the Shamrocks 6-3. And Carlos Vaz with 3 goals in that one. And Adilson Cardozo had 2 goals for the winning club, Santo Antao United. Lots of goals there. You got 2 guys that are just piling them up in that one. So
Shamrock's another club that's been around for a while. They've been probably in existence about 30, 35 years. San Antao, it's their first year in our league. They off and on have had some teams, but this is a first time in a few years that they've got a team and they're doing pretty darn well. I'll tell you also interesting, and we'll talk a bit more about that. We're talking about Cape Verde, the team Intelligentsia. One of the guys who's one of their best players is not listed there because also he happens to be from one of the islands that was afflicted by the storm, and I'm pretty sure he was trying to get a flight back, so he may not have played. He's a former pro player who played for the Stingrays team. His name is Ingy Forts, but his name's not there because he wasn't able to be there for that game.
Yeah. Well, we wish them the best, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a few. Wrapping up the games for the week, for week 12, Academica defeated Mexico 4-0. Alcindo Cardozo, Archon Brew Butler, Nilson Socorro, and Jorge Lima were the goal scorers in that one. They are showing that they can score and defend. That team seems to be pretty solid. They're going to be tough to beat down the stretch here.
Now, Academic is a very well organized. I don't mean who organizes them, but they play a really organized ball. They're intelligent, athletic, and skilled, all combined on one team. And I'd say a majority of the players are really way above average in terms of quality.
Yeah, they're going to be a tough team to beat, the rest of the way. So look for them to make some waves, right? They're gonna be one of the teams to watch for the rest of the way.
Yeah, they're one of the teams I think I may have mentioned last week with Kabas that ultimately they look good enough that we may be trying to feature them in some tournaments outside of the state.
Yes, we were talking about that.
Yeah.
When you have that good of a club, it's really the team that should be focused and get out there in the public eye. This is a team that could make some noise outside of Rhode Island.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you, we aired the game of the week last week. I believe it was Santo Antonio United was the game. We had quite a bit of people watching.
Great.
We had over 40 viewers of the game, so that's comforting to see that Rhode Island's at least beginning to support some of this.
Yeah.
So we're going to be showing another game this week, of course, and we're going to continue to try to put matches up there all the time, and so that way people can enjoy, Rhode Island soccer, even in their homes.
Yeah, they'll get to see Academica this week, which is, I think, the game that we've got, which I think that Kaba's may have posted it. Does he have it up on YouTube or possibly? I'm not sure.
Yes, it's already on YouTube, but we'll have it on Rhode Island Broadcasting at some point tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Tomorrow's Wednesday, so it'll air about noontime tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Great. Hey, Ron, just a quickie. When you know you're posting it, send me a note on it. I will get it shared with the team managers.
Okay, that sounds great.
Besides it being,
we have some of those guys up on the show.
Yeah, I want to let them know, and they'll share with the ball players, which will be great.
Yeah, we want to get those players and the managers and coaches and stuff. We want to get them out there so that way they can talk about their clubs. And I'm hoping we can get the logos for the clubs. Kaba said that not all of them have logos,
True,
which is stunning. But what I will do is I will try to create a logo for those teams that don't have one and see if they like it. If they do, then they can go with it.
Fantastic.
So it's what I can do for them, right?
Sounds good. And
my part.
Each of these, the interesting thing is each island in Cape Verde, so you can ask me as you're doing, has got something different about it, whether it's geography, whether it's history, something. And then obviously the other countries we know are obviously they've got different stuff. We've got a Mexican team, we've got a Colombian team, we have 2 American teams. So we've got a mixture of everything, and each one something might just pop up that you think about.
Yeah. All right. So before we go any further, assuming we are talking about it now, let us talk about this Cape Verde crisis that they're going through right now. You never want to see anything happen that is going to take lives and stuff like that. But this is a hurricane that went through, if I'm not mistaken.
The interesting thing is it popped up with almost no warning.
Yeah.
Is some history of that in the Eastern Atlantic. And a lot of the storms that have come our way over the last probably 30, 40 years, either they form down in the Caribbean or they form in the Eastern Atlantic, and it's usually somewhere around Cape Verde. This one came up incredibly quickly. People were not ready for it. I am very close to a lot of folks from Cape Verde, so I've been talking to them over the last week, and people just all of a sudden had floods coming down the side of hills and mountains, like washing out houses. They didn't even know a storm was coming. So there's tremendous amount of damage as a result of that. We know from at least the teams there are a tremendous number of Cape Verdean soccer players in this area.
Yeah.
And our teams probably, I bet 50% of the players are from Cape Verde originally. This whole area of southern New England, including Pawtucket, Providence, give more list of more towns: Brockton, Fall River, New Bedford, Rehoboth, Somerset.
I have an ex that's from Cape Verde, and on her father's side was a lot of soccer players, and so it does catch my attention. When you said this, I was like, oh, and the first thing I had to do was send out a message to her to make sure everybody is okay, because I don't know when they travel back, to Cape Verde or not. I don't know their schedules, but it's still concerning.
there was supposed to be, and there is every year, in St. Vincent, which is one of the major islands hit, a music jazz festival, very world renowned. And a couple of players I know were scheduled to go, and I think they canceled. I think the festival is off for the year. But it's a pretty well renowned. It's Cape Verde music and a jazz music festival every year there. Yeah. So it is definitely not happening this year. I grew up playing for a couple of Cape Verdean teams as a young kid, and I will tell you, the better half of my life was born in Cape Verde, which is my wife. So I've had a lot, and I've been to Cape Verde now 2 times also. So I've been there a couple of times. I've seen it. It's an amazing country, and the people that have come to the States are pretty amazing. They're probably all the most hardworking people we got in New England. So.
Yeah, you don't want to see any of this kind of stuff, but it is part of nature, right?
Sure.
And we have to be human to respond to things like this.
Oh, yeah. One of the big soccer clubs in Europe, which is Benfica, which just about everybody in the Portuguese community and otherwise knows.
Yeah.
Benfica. Their charity, which they run, and all the major soccer clubs do run charity nonprofits for the most part in Europe, have made a large donation for the rebuilding effort in Cape Verde. It is currently our soccer association and myself and Kaba were involved in putting together a benefit, which we're hoping to do if things work out in conjunction with RIFC in the next couple of weeks, where we may play kind of an all-star game from some of our Cape Verdean players there, and any money that comes into the stadium, they're going to share most of the proceeds, a large part of the proceeds with the charity. And they also, if it gets done and set up, we're working on the date right now because it isn't, talking about overhead, for them to open the door on the stadium costs a bomb. So we got to get them to want to go with this, but I think that both the current president and the owner, who I've spoken to about this, I think are pretty positive about getting it done. They're going to, I think I mentioned before, the stadium, Centerville Bank Stadium. I'm not plugging Centerville Bank because I didn't know who they were until they put their name on the stadium. Is a very, it's got a high bandwidth. It's really incredibly Wi-Fi usable and friendly. So they're talking about maybe if they do this, they'll put together a barcode donation barcode where people come into the games also may be able to donate while they're there. So it's a lot of work to get done, and it really depends upon RIFC putting in some time, but more their overhead, which is opening the stadium, and we're trying to get it done after one of their regular season games so that stadium's already open, and it may be that we'll be open an hour to an hour and a half afterwards, and we're trying to put together a couple of teams from this league. They may actually more likely, let's say that the top 2 teams will be an all-star team, 2 all-star teams to play each other.
Well, if there's anything I can do to help out, you just let me know, David. Yeah. Whatever I can do. If I can be of help, then you got me. Okay. So,
hey, and look out in your weather forecast, because that damn storm is still moving a little bit up the coast here. It's the one that's called Erin.
Yes,
the storm.
Yes, I found out about that this morning, and then not a moment later, that's when I realized that is the storm that hit, Cape Verde, and whatever I can do to help, the cause, with Rhode Island FC, and the players throughout the state, of course, you got me. Okay.
Yeah. Once we've got it firmed up, I've been talking back and forth with the president and a little bit with the owner as well in the last couple of days. It's all logistics, getting enough time, because if we can advertise it also, it's going to benefit both the club for some people coming in and the charity.
Yes.
So it goes both ways, and we are going to have.
Those of you that are watching, right now, keep an eye out for this, especially if you're from Rhode Island. And you don't have to be from Rhode Island to do something. Let me stress that. There's always something you can do from no matter where you are. You can find it. Just make sure it's a legitimate thing. Do a little bit of research
Be
because
careful.
you don't want to give it to scammers.
This is one of the problems when things like this happen. Scammers can show up. Be careful about putting something in a GoFundMe before you know exactly what it is.
Exactly.
There are already a couple of them out there on for this on Facebook.
Yeah. You got to find out right from the source. You know, you can't just say, oh, because they're saying, oh, this is, such and such, send it to at this, that, and the other thing, right? You can't just send it because just one little misplacement of a period or a letter means the difference. So
True.
do not get scammed and make sure you find out exactly. So if you want to know, you're probably better off contacting, RIFC directly, or,
I think we need to get them a way to get them to Rhode Island Soccer first, because RIFC is still prospective. So we're
so Rhode Island Soccer is where you wanna contact.
I think so. And if people are getting to you, just let me know, and we'll be in touch with them also.
Yeah. So look it up. We have the logo. When we do the opening, so it's Rhode Island Soccer. What is it? Association.
Yeah, and it's also. Give me a second, because we are the Rhode Island Soccer Association. We are on Facebook in that, but let me just tell you, we are also findable. 1 second, I will give you.
We want to know the exact thing, so that way people can do the right thing.
Yeah, I'll give you a website. Hold on a second. It is. Here we are. It's not simple. Our old one used to be easy. It used to be RISA.org. Now we are much more modern. And give me a second. Let me see if I just Google search.
Much more modern, but much more difficult.
Oh yeah, it's an internet provider. It's called Demisphere. Let me just see what happens when I look up Rhode Island Soccer Association right now. If I look up Rhode Island Soccer Association with a Google search.
So RISA.demosphere-secure.com. Is that what it is?
No, it's RISA.demisphere.
Yes.
Yeah, RISA.demisphere is where you start with the homepage.
Yes.
And we will post stuff on that absolutely as soon as we're firm. And I think I was mentioning that I have a meeting with Kaba, and
so that's what you should do if you want to donate. Just go there, and if they don't have the information on the website, you just contact them and you send them a message, and you will be able to get through. At some point, somebody will send a message back to you. Because there's always something on there. It's state governing body under U.S. ASA and U.S. Soccer. So just get on that site and just take care of it from there. You don't want to just random websites that may or may not be real. Nobody wants to get scammed.
By the way, we also
know of a scam out there. Please, by all means, post it in the comments.
Do that, and there is a Rhode Island Soccer Association Facebook page where you can message. It's on Facebook, and you can leave a message on there for the association, which will be returned also.
Yes, so there you go. There's the two options: either Facebook or the actual website, RISA.demosphere, and then, Rhode Island Soccer Association on Facebook. Make sure you get that page.
Yeah.
Those are the best two ways for you to not get scammed out there for for money, and you'll get the direction that you need to place a donation if you want to donate, which
Yeah.
I hope a lot of people do.
Yeah.
I hope they, no offense, David, but I hope they, break your server.
Exactly. Hey, listen, we are also Rhode Island Soccer Association. So over about 40 years, we are a absolutely recognized nonprofit organization.
Yeah.
By the bad guys, by the IRS. So, but we're not.
Yeah. Well,
we're nonprofit.
I think there are enough people in this world that love soccer that should be willing to help. I
Yeah.
mean, nobody wants to see, a country in a crisis, fail.
True.
That's the last thing anybody wants to see. We don't want to see, you know, deaths from these kind of things, but we also need to make sure that their safety is secure now, because what happens if another storm comes?
Absolutely. And it's likely that in the hurricane season, another one will develop in that area.
Yeah.
It's been known as the cradle of hurricanes for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how, all these countries that are in the path, they're so resilient.
Oh yeah, there's been so much damage in countries
I
in the
mean,
Caribbean.
when you think about what happens when it reaches the United States and it's already weakened most of the time.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I don't know how they, it's so devastating, and yet they're resilient enough to get through it, and it's like, just another day for them.
Yeah.
But this one was not just another day.
Yeah.
It's a little more difficult right now for them. So, and they're very vulnerable for other things to happen, and you gotta support so that way they can make it through this. That's simple as that. Simple as that. All right, let's get back to some soccer.
Mhm.
Let's talk about these New England Revs. They got a couple of games coming up this week. They haven't played in a week. Actually, like 10 days it's been since they've played.
Yeah.
So, but they've got 2 games this week. They got one tomorrow. They go in tomorrow at home. Birmingham Legion FC comes to town here in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. 7 p.m. game time. And get this, David, it is $4 beers. Doing a little promo, $4 beers, Ron's in.
they one of their sponsors is a craft brewery in Pawtucket.
Yeah.
So that's probably, I'm sure that's probably who's got the beer.
And they got good one. They got a good beer too.
It's the Guild. The Guild.
Yes. Very good place. Yeah. I've been there a couple of times, maybe more.
No, they're kind of a sponsor of the team, and they actually opened up their place and their pub for a lot of the original PR get-togethers for fans before the club even got off the ground. Most of those meetings or socials were over at the Guild in Pawtucket.
Yeah, fantastic place. So go out there to the Guild, and they even have like a farmer's market there as well.
Yeah.
So that's always a good time too. It's a great place. It's a great place, and fantastic stadium. And then you throw in $4 beer night. That's great. I love it. So that is tomorrow at 7 p.m. Big game for them because they got to get on this winning track. Right now, they've got a win and then a draw the last 2 games out, but their defense is really showing some promise. Of course, we were talking about they getting their goaltender back, the goalkeeper back, and I think all they need is some goal scoring. So maybe a little a little couple of changes here and there might make the difference in this team, and they can make a push. They can make a push.
Yeah,
So is it the top 8 teams that make the playoffs?
I think it's in the top 8, then it's round robin, then they work it down to the final. Yes.
Yeah. So right now they'd be in, but I want them to be in. So we need them to go on a winning streak to really secure their spot, and I think they're talented enough to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So they also
I wanted to make a comment because you started out with the revolution, and it's an interesting thing because I was an original season ticket holder of them, held season tickets for 16 years, and just got worn out by their lack of performance, lack of commitment of the ownership to really putting together a good team. They once made a run to the finals. They spent money on one good player that year. They lost in the finals and never even came close again. And they've never
no.
spent the money to get the real top players. So after 16 years of season tickets, one day I wrote an email to the guy who's my ticket rep. I said, you know what? This feels like a divorce, man. It's been going on for 16 years, and today I divorce you. They
Well,
just
if they're not going to put the money into it.
They don't spend the money. They have not put any effort into soccer. It's all Patriots. And
Yeah.
the stadium they have is good for football. It's no good for soccer. Just the viewing lines are terrible. And now I find out, they've been talking off and on again about building in Boston. Well, they finally identified some site where they're going to build a stadium, and then find out last week there's some news reports, I think, in the Boston Globe, Boston Herald, that the city is not going to even go with them because what they offered for mitigation, in other words, they're going to create traffic jams. They're going to create needs for more mass transit. All this stuff comes with building a stadium. So they offered to give the city, to help with the stuff of building the stadium, $100,000. And the mayor said, you know what? Go back and think about it. It's just, it's building a stadium in the middle of a metropolitan
That's what they were offering?
That they're offering is $100,000.
That's it?
That's it. And so Mayor Wu, basically, not the way I'm going to tell him to go to hell. Go put something realistic in, because this, is it good for the state, for the city to have a stadium? Sure, but it's going to create all these additional expenses. You got more people on the tee. You need more parking. You need more highways. It costs money in the middle of a city, and apparently,
not that Bob Kraft didn't make $420 million last year.
Right. And the casino, which is up on the North Bank, I think, in Boston, I don't know the numbers, but when they built, they created the same kind of situation. They gave the city, I can't even tell you how much, but it's probably in the $30-40 million range to build the casino hotel, which they're making money on. And clearly the stadium, if it's built, the Crafts should make money on it if they do it right.
Yeah, and this is a problem that I've been discussing on Sports Unfolded with new stadiums and stuff like that. It's really frustrating when a franchise can make hundreds of $1,000,000, and mind you that Bob Kraft made $420 million. That's just on the revenue sharing.
Right.
That doesn't include all of the sales for jerseys and all that stuff. That doesn't include that. That's just people going to a game.
It doesn't include the $45 parking fee either.
Right. So it's like you have all this money. Why are you making the taxpayers paying for everything?
And
it's like, you know what? Show me something that you actually care about us.
The fans have been holding on behind the Revs, or most of them have. I gave up for a long time, and they're just not getting rewarded with a quality team. And they definitely, as much as Gillette is a great football stadium, it's terrible as a soccer stadium.
Yeah, unless you're sitting up in the front row somewhere.
Yeah, sightlines don't work.
Yeah, because it was designed for football, and
Yes.
when you can't expect it to be the same thing. It wouldn't work for baseball either.
No.
You have to have your own home.
Yeah, no question about it.
And I don't understand. I don't understand the greed, to be honest with you, on the teams. And and the Red Sox ownership does the same thing. They funnel the money. They funnel it to Liverpool.
Yeah.
So at least soccer is benefiting from it there.
They got a good soccer team for sure.
Yes. Yes, it all goes there. So that's why I don't like when some owners own more than one franchise in different sports and stuff like that, because
Yeah, it's difficult.
you're just begging for trouble. One of them will be good, and then the others will just be the secondary thing. And I don't like that. Unless it's such a great owner, and then they put the money in both how it's supposed to be. If they distribute their finances correctly in both sports, then it would work. But if it's not, they're just funneling everything into one. It doesn't make any sense. It
Hey,
really
I want
doesn't.
to shout out to the RIFC ownership. First of all, they put a stadium in Pawtucket.
Yeah.
They did not get. There was a lot of arguments about, oh, should we do this? And they've just created a beautiful, beautiful stadium.
Yeah.
And they're out there trying to support the community, and I think they're here forever. I think the interesting thing is the owner, Brett Johnson, also has done the same thing before in Phoenix.
Yeah.
Phoenix Rising, who were in the same league as this RIFC, they went in there, they built a stadium, they started a team from scratch.
Yeah.
And so, the ownership is committed to this, which sometimes is different.
That's good.
I don't think he's a billionaire. He's probably quite a wealthy guy. He has to be to do this, but he's in it for the duration.
Yeah. Well, when the Red Sox were in Pawtucket, and they basically wanted Pawtucket to foot the whole bill.
Yep.
And I'm glad they decided to say no to the Pawtucket Red Sox, because again, we talk about a team that's multi-billion dollars, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how do you ask the people from Pawtucket to pay for everything? You know what I'm saying? It's like, and I'm glad they second guessed and they said, you know what, despite us loving the Pawtucket Red Sox, it's time for you to go. We're not doing it.
Yep.
We're not doing it. And I love it, because then here comes RIFC, and that the deal that they wanted to work out was definitely doable for the people of Pawtucket, and they're gonna benefit. Pawtucket's gonna benefit from this.
Yes.
And you already see it just by the way they interact with the residents around them. I mean, everything has been pretty good for everybody, for local businesses. The whole package is there.
Mm-hmm.
It's stuff that the Boston Red Sox could have done with Pawtucket. They were able to do that. They had the finances to easily do it.
True.
And they chose that they didn't want to.
No.
And it's hard to see, and especially when I see advertising that they're going to rebuild parks for Worcester and stuff like that, for kids and stuff like that. It's like, why couldn't you do that here?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I don't understand. It's the public perception. They want everybody to perceive that they do a lot of things, but they didn't do anything for Pawtucket.
No, they did not.
They did nothing. Yes, show fireworks. Great.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. We needed those fireworks. That was more important than anything.
Yep.
But that's just the difference in perspectives on what RIFC has done, as opposed to all those years that the Red Sox were there, and really we got nothing out of it.
Yes.
So I like what's happening, and I have no problem supporting franchises that are going to support the area they're in.
And as I said, getting them involved in this charitable fundraising is a good thing. And I think by the end of this year, they will be starting what they call as their nonprofit charity, which will be involved in developing young soccer players in the Pawtucket Providence area. And they may add an after-school educational component to their soccer training as well.
Yeah, so the Revs are in 8th. I mean, not the Revs. The RIFC is in 8th place. They get games with Birmingham at home, and then they travel to Hartford on Saturday for a game there at 7 p.m. Look, we're hoping that they can bring in 2 wins for these games and put themselves, in a definite playoff spot. We want them to climb up a couple of spots, to get in there. As opposed to the Revs that are buried in 11th place with a 7-12 record, 4 games behind the 10th place, and they've lost 4 of the last 5. They've scored 33 goals in 26 matches. Definitely they're anemic in scoring, but the problem is that they can't just tinker with their lineup and expect to score goals. See, this is where RIFC, they have the skill level.
Mm-hmm.
They're just having some guys are just not putting it in the net, right now, but that could change.
True.
I don't think it can change with the Revs.
No, and you know what?
Can't score.
There's some good players playing the MLS. I don't watch since they did that deal they did with Apple. I gave up watching them, but I can tell you every so often I'll pick up something on Fox Sports. They'll run a game and I'll watch it. I watched a game the other day. It was between I think Portland and Vancouver. There's some damn good soccer being played, but it's not like what you see up in Fox.
No, it's not. It's definitely not. I believe it's Cincinnati that's leading the division. I want to say they only have like 1 loss, maybe 2. They've been really good. I think they're like 14-1. It's something ridiculous. That is not the Revs. They are not contenders by no means. That's unfortunate. So we put our hopes and dreams into RIFC because they've got a good squad. They've got some talent there.
Yeah.
They need to make a couple of adjustments, and I think they'll be okay. I think you're going to start seeing people rise to the occasion as it gets deeper into the season. I believe it is 11 games left on the season. If they can go and if they win 8 of those, they're in.
Oh, yeah. No question.
They're in. So, look, if they win 8 of those, they're going to be more than in. 8-3 would be spectacular. I could live with, 6-5, and I think they still get in. But we want 8. We want 8.
Yep.
We want 8. So, yeah. So, David?
Yeah.
Got any more thoughts on what's happening out there? Unfortunately, we didn't get to talk about a couple of, a game for RIFC because they didn't play in the last 10 days.
Right. Yeah, well, they will be playing. The game they're playing actually tomorrow is, I think, another game in this Jagermeister Cup, which is the League Cup. So we'll see what happens. It won't impact standings, but it'll impact them continuing the Cup. So we'll have some news on that once that happens.
Yeah. So I guess that's going to do it for us this week.
Okay.
Certainly another, entertaining show. And again, get out there to the Rhode Island Soccer Association website. Let me give that again, risa.demosphere. So get there or get on the Facebook page for Rhode Island Soccer Association and find out information on where you can donate to help Cape Verde. But, just any little bit helps, whether it's $1, $10, whatever you can do, whatever you're comfortable and able to do that, because everything helps. Everything helps.
Hey, thank you for that. Thank you for plugging this. And as we are working on it, our big Cape Verdean community in this southern New England is going to be working on this too with us and helping them rebuild back in Cape Verde, which is going to take a while.
Yeah.
The damage.
Hopefully everything goes well.
Yeah.
Thank you everybody for being here. And please stay tuned. Next week we'll be back with more info on all of these things, including RI Super Cup. And watch the game tomorrow. We will air it at noontime tomorrow. So stay tuned for that as well. David, I want to thank you for being here, and I'm looking forward to next week.
Sounds good. And I think I may be bringing in somebody, not a bigwig, but someone who actually works in their ticket department at RIFC to join us, who's on our board of Rhode Island Soccer Association, and he happens to be very closely related to the president. It's the president's son. His name is Tyler.
So, all right. Something to look forward to.
Yeah, I think we'll be able to get him on next week also.
All right. Have a great day, everybody.
All right. You too, Ron. Thanks.